There we go. All right, for those of you joining live, watching the podcast, this is watching the podcast archive. This is going to be our E3 2017 podcast. Now that all conferences are done, we're all going to talk about what our thoughts were on these conferences in chronological order. I've spoken to these guys. We've got Grease Lightning Reactions. We've got PortgasXUchiha, aka Andrew Bays. We've got Zach Ryan, and I've talked to these guys in some capacity individually, but we thought we'd get together and kind of talk about create consensus around these conferences. And it was a touch and go of the year this year. We're going to start in order. So I'm going to start with EA, then we're going to go to Ubisoft, Microsoft, Bethesda, Sony, and then Nintendo. We'll go in that order. Even if you know some of the highlights of what announcements were made, you can talk to that. You don't need to talk about stuff. So EA, let's start with EA right now, because I know a lot of people were shitted on EA early on because they thought that was a really poor conference. I think for me, EA was really bad, but for what we expected them to show, I think they had the Madden NFL reveal for the story mode. They had that guy who won the Oscar, Mahershala Ali, for Moonlight. He was in that story mode. They got big talent for that story mode. They had what else? They Need for Speed announcement, and they had a bunch of other Anthem. They showed briefly of. Arinda, what did you think of the EA announcement? What do you think of the highs and lows of that conference were?
Well, as far as what I thought was most interesting, it showed that that co-op game, the prison one, A Way Out.
Yeah. A Way Out, yeah. That looked interesting. It looked like Uncharted sort of as well, in a way, didn't it?
Yeah, that was probably my favorite announcement they made, because, even though Anthem was in that press conference, it wasn't like a good showing of it because it didn't really tell you anything. Yeah. So, I mean, the name BioWare made me excited, but I needed to see more, especially after what BioWare had just put out, I wasn't, but that, and of course, I'm really excited for Battlefront 2, especially because it's going to have a story mode now.
Yeah.
Which is that's especially what I wanted. It's supposed to be canon, and we got gameplay, and of course, it looks beautiful. Yeah. I still need to play it because I played the first one, and it needs to have some type of staying value. But yeah, I mean, overall, I thought it was better than most EA press conferences that I've seen in the past, because they showed quite a few games, and ones people actually care about. Of course, they're going to always have the Madden and the FIFA because it sells so well, and I don't really blame them for that. But as long as they back up on the tail end, which they did, I thought it was okay.
How relevant do you think Need for Speed is to you still? Because I don't even remember the last Need for Speed. I remember I used to love that series. Yeah. But lately, it's just become.
What? Yeah, Need for Speed actually. Underground 2 is my favorite racing game I've ever played.
Yeah.
I bought, what was it, Rivals when the PS4 first came out.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my god, I hate the whole open world persistent instead of they had a story. We used to have it for Need for Speed Most Wanted was amazing. Underground with all the customization, but I feel like Need for Speed's a lot. Now it's just Forza and maybe a little bit of Gran Turismo, and Gran Turismo isn't even as big as it used to be. So
yeah, I remember Burnout started this persistent thing. Remember, Burnout had this slightly more open world, and ever since Burnout, which is a great series. Everyone's kind of taken from that because they did really well. Andrew, what did you think of the EA when you first got into E3 and this was the first conference you saw? What did you think of EA's conference? What were you interested in? What didn't you like?
What really caught my attention, really the only thing that showcased that I really cared about was Star Wars 2. That really excited me, especially with my boy John Boyega right there.
Oh yeah.
That got me hyped. A way that game looked really interesting. Apart from that, that was really the only thing I cared about. Everything else I really could not give a single fuck about because, Matt and Forza, all that stuff, doesn't interest me because EA, I would say it was meh. It was meh. Those two were really the only things that stood out to me.
Yeah. Zach, what about you? Highs and lows of that?
I would say EA was probably, for me at least, I believe that was the worst conference at this E3, just because it was so predictable. It was a typical EA conference, FIFA, Madden, etc. A Way Out seemed interesting. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it. I heard it was from the guy who created Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. That was a pretty good game.
Yeah, that was a good game. And you could see the DNA from that in that game as well, A Way Out there. Yeah.
It looks interesting. I might pick it up. We'll see. I'll have to see more impressions on it. But and then I believe Anthem is the only other thing, but that they didn't really show much. That was Xbox, so but it looks interesting.
Yeah. I think people were disappointed that Ubi Arts, they've got a division where they make their indie games, and Valiant
Child of
Hearts
Light.
was apparently
And
Child of Light, Valiant Hearts. Those did really well. I think people were disappointed that there wasn't much representation for them there when they were pushing all those other bigger games, the sports games. I think maybe if they had those, it would have rounded it out a bit better. Because I do think I'm usually quite disappointed with EA. You know, like Mirror's Edge was something they dropped the ball on. I don't think Mirror's Edge, took the world by storm or anything, but they're just focusing on their key franchises, right? Just building up on those rather than showing new ones. Next conference, Ubisoft's conference. Now that was a little bit more interesting. I'm gonna go to you, Greece, because I know you actually quite enjoyed Ubisoft's conference. Obviously, that Far Cry 5, they showed Beyond Good and Evil, the announcement, which some people were kind of hit and miss on. What do you think of the Ubisoft conference? What was the kind of low points and high points of that conference?
Well, for me, I thought Ubisoft had either the best conference or one of the best conferences. And that's even despite the huge announcement at the end, because I me and Moen were talking about, I never played Beyond Good and Evil. So that trailer at the end, while it was really entertaining and really cool looking, it wasn't that huge reaction I saw. I literally, my phone blew up when that happened. Because there's a lot of people I was following that were freaking out, and I was like, I don't even know what this game really is. But they were really solid from beginning to end. I think it's a huge step forward, that they're always with Nintendo, with Miyamoto actually showing up. That was an awesome moment, except Miyamoto has a gun, and he's giving his characters guns now, which is completely insane. I'm not going to actually play that game, but it doesn't look like a bad game, and it looks like it's not something that I wish didn't exist. I think it's really weird, and I like when Ubisoft does quirky stuff. I hate the rabbits, but whatever, it's okay. The other game that caught my attention was Skull and Bones, which was I thought was an interesting trailer. I'm still not sold on it because I liked AC4 with the whole naval combat and all that stuff, but the problem I have with these kinds of games is I feel like it's going to get repetitive. I don't know if there's enough mechanics in play for something like this. And a lot of people were talking about, what was that game that Microsoft has, the pirate one?
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves. They're making comparisons with that. And I think that's hard to do just because this is going to be completely this is grounded. It looks serious. It looks
Plus, I don't think you can. I don't even think in Bones you can even attack other ships on foot. It's all
right.
Naval.
Yeah. They've taken the ship battles from AC4 and made it its own game basically, and added the multiplayer element.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, which is why.
Because.
Sorry.
Yeah, because when AC4 came out, AC Black Flag came out, that was literally the most acclaimed thing about that game. It's the naval combat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people spent more time out in the season doing the objectives and that kind of thing. Like the 4 galleons they had to take down, the bosses and stuff. Actually, you said interesting, because when I saw the Mario X Rabbids game, I thought, here we go. This is going to be Mario slapped onto a Rabbids game to sell Rabbids games, right? As I saw it more, they've intertwined the parody aspect of Mario into an actual cohesive story. And it's kind of still rubs me the wrong way that Mario's got a gun and he's aspiring, but he does fit into that story somehow. He has interactions with the Rabbids characters. You had the Princess Peach Rabbid that was just
selfies.
Those kind of things. I mean, you're right. I won't play that game, and I don't think it's enough for me to get a Switch. But it did look interesting. One more thing before I move on to you, Andrew and Zach, is that I think because it's been so long since Beyond Good and Evil has come, I think that CGI trailer was enough to get new people on board, I think. Because they said it's going to be a prequel.
I'm interested.
I'm interested as well. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of Beyond Good and Evil. I remember it for sure, and I played a bit of it. But I think I'm more on board now because it's out of my mind now completely. So I think they did enough. And it was the first good conference from E3 after coming off EA and that kind of thing. Andrew, what about you? Highs and low points of Ubisoft's conference. Remember, there was Far Cry 5 as well, though, which people were dying to see.
I didn't even get to mention that, but that looks really good too.
Yeah, that does. Yeah.
I would say this conference with Ubisoft really, really surprised me. I really enjoyed it from beginning to end, because last year I thought Ubisoft had a pretty decent conference. I don't think it was anything special in my opinion. but the one they did this year was really, really fucking good. Like the way it started out with Mario and the rabbits, and I don't know about you guys, but that actually, I was actually laughing the whole conference. You know, it was just so, you know, it was just very, very cool, and you know, it even got to me, and it has me more hyped to get the Switch later on, and you know, Far Cry 5 looked fucking dope. Can't wait to, you know, fucking dope. I love the concept of, like, you know, you're playing mercenaries who are in this territory that the other government can't touch, because it's like you know, it's like its own state. It's like its own territory.
Yeah.
They can't go in there without causing basically war. And so I like that aspect. You're now using mercenaries. You know, you're infiltrating that place, and as well as Assassin's Creed Origins. Assassin's Creed Origins, I don't know. It's just, I think they're changing the formula a lot for this new Assassin's Creed, which has me worried but also intrigued, because like I'm glad they're finally trying something new with it. Yeah. But you know, like I have a bit of worries, but from what I understand, this is a game that's been years in development, and I'm hoping the end product is good. And in the end, you know, for the ending of it, you know, for good and evil, like again, like I never played that game. I know my friend who was with me, who is he loves the first game a lot, and when he saw that trailer, he was going fucking crazy, and he was telling me the story behind the game. He was telling me how in the end we saw the creator out there, and he was, you know, like you can see in his face, he was very emotional. You can tell, and that was because you know, he told me he's been waiting 15 years to finally do a sequel to that game. So that was very so that was very cool, and seeing the hype that game got, I'm actually thinking about, you know, playing the original one to see, you know what's so good about it. But yeah, I would say Ubisoft had a damn good conference, and it really surprised me.
Everything they showed was really fun to watch, right? It looked interesting to an extent for everyone, I think. So Zach, what were your highs and lows about that Ubisoft conference? I think most people might agree that it was a very good one. You think there was a bit more to it than that, or there was some lows there as well?
I thought it was okay. I thought in the beginning there was a lot of talking, too much talking in the beginning. They just kept, before they put out Mario, they just kept going on and on, repeating themselves. That dragged a little bit. Thought Mario looked interesting. It's not my kind of game. It's not enough for me to get a Switch. My biggest takeaway as far as a game would be Far Cry 5. I love the Far Cry franchise. I really love what they're doing with this game. It looks very interesting. And let's see, what else did they have there? Beyond Good and Evil 2. I never played Beyond Good and Evil. I've heard great things, but I've never had the opportunity to play it. I believe it was on Xbox, right? Is that true? Was it exclusive to Xbox?
I think so. I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I wasn't the biggest.
It shows up on backwards compatibility. I can get some use out of Xbox One.
Yeah, that's probably why I never played it, because it was an Xbox thing. I never had an Xbox.
Yeah. I never
appreciated. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, we didn't even talk about Assassin's Creed. I don't know if you guys even care about it anymore.
I'm interested in Assassin's Creed, because I think they do benefit from taking time away. They decided to cut away to someone else playing the demo, and they said, "Come over here to watch the full demo gameplay." From what I saw of Assassin's Creed Origins, I like the setting. I like the Egyptian setting. I think it's something it's good they held on to that setting, right, to get this game out. Because obviously you've got the political stuff around, but then you've got historical figures, and I'm actually really excited for Assassin's Creed after a long time. I thought 4 was decent. I wasn't blown away by it, but it had a good story after a long time. 3 was bad. I didn't really much like. I wasn't interested in, what's that multiplayer one, the 4-player co-op one. I wasn't interested in that. Syndicate. Unity, then Syndicate.
Syndicate was Rogue. I played that one.
Yeah, I've heard Syndicate was good, but I think people were so jaded. So then, by the time Assassin's Creed Rogue also fell off people's radar. The one that tied into Unity, the one where you're playing as a Templar. Yeah, so
I played all of them except Primal. So
yeah.
The thing is,
what is Primal?
Yeah,
Primal is the prehistoric one.
Wait, that's Far
Cry. Far Cry.
Oh, Far Cry. Oh shit.
Far Cry. Yeah. The one that was a Civil War one was Assassin's Creed 3, with the guys in the snow and everything. Actually, yeah.
I was not a fan of that.
One more thing we missed out about Ubisoft. You know, this E3's been about solid release dates, right? We all want solid release dates. We don't just want friggin' announcements.
Yes.
That release dates. So South Park, The Fractured Butthole had an actual bona fide fractured
I
butthole.
love that. I want to play that so bad.
I want to play that. You know, I never played Stick of Truth.
Stick of Truth. Oh my, that game is
Fantastic.
it was so funny. I'm not even a South Park fan. It's so funny.
Yeah. I used to watch South Park, but I'm interested because they're taking the superhero genre, right? And they're just taking the piss out of the superhero genre. The South Park Fractured Butthole is the one I'm actually really excited for. I just love it. It's a smart name though. They really care. Yeah. So
I didn't even watch it. I knew I was gonna.
Oh my god.
So Zach, are you excited for that? Because I know it was been stuck in limbo for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the first game. But it's been delayed 3 times now. So who knows if it's even going to come out in this fall? You know, it was supposed to come out, I think, earlier this year. Then it was supposed to come out late last year, and then before that there was another date. But I'm very excited for it. Hopefully it comes out and I'll get it.
They've got some great JRPG creators behind it. I don't know what company is now. Wasn't it Obsidian who did the? Yeah,
they
Obsidian.
Did Vegas, Fallout in Vegas.
Yeah, so they've got great talent behind it. So mechanically, I think it's going to be great. It's got the Trey Parker, Matt Stone. Well, I'm getting the names wrong. Their humor to it, their creative touch to it. So I think it'll be interesting. Let's move on to Microsoft now, because Microsoft was a lot of people shit on it. A lot of people were more forgiving on it. You know my thoughts. Well, I'm going to explain my thoughts, but Amrinda, I want to talk to you about your thoughts on Microsoft. What do you think of Microsoft?
I think they had a solid conference, all things being equal. The thing is, I may not have been. How I look at it is that first they announced the new console. I am not even interested in any way of getting it, just because I already feel like I'm a little burned from the PS4 Pro, which I own, which is really doesn't have that much of a purpose in my life. I only got it because my old PS4 broke down. So seeing that, owning a gaming PC. The thing that sucks about Microsoft's conference in that regard is that every time I see a game, I'm just gonna be like, okay, I can get it on PC.
Yeah.
Because that's their strategy moving forward. But you have to look at it in the sense that the games that are on Xbox and PC are console exclusive, and that's a real thing if you don't have a PC. So in that regard, they had a really good. I thought overall their actual conference was really good. Like they really hit the things that everyone wanted to see. You know, they showed the Sea of Thieves demo, which people are really excited for. Not me personally. Cuphead, which I'm so excited for because that looks so good. It's crazy. Crackdown's trailer actually made me less excited for it, except Terry Crews was amazing in that opening thing. Yeah. That guy's just jokes. And then what was that? They showed Anthem, and they showed Life is Strange. They showed Shadow of Mordor. You know, I mean, and all this stuff is like all stuff I'm excited for. And their pacing of this conference was actually really good, and probably one of the best in the entire thing, except for the thing I really liked about it is that they didn't like information overload with the Xbox One X, which is a terrible name, but that was the thing that would have killed their conference for me. And they didn't fall into that. So I think overall the conference was really solid. I'm still going to sell my Xbox One, which I've been trying to do, but no one wants to buy it.
Can you blame them?
But I think just looking at it from if you're already have an Xbox, this was a really good conference for you. If you don't own an Xbox, I don't think they really proved to anyone that you should buy one or the new one.
Yeah, I agree that it's good that you address the elephant in the room, which I think we can all agree on that. The Xbox One X's price point is ridiculous. No one wants to pay $500. Not to say that the Xbox One X hardware isn't competent, because it is. Because factually, obviously, they say it's the most powerful, and it is the most powerful. But the fact that it's in the same family as Xbox One, but $500 is just ridiculous. I don't think you convinced anyone to buy that particular SKU of the game. I think the games you mentioned were brilliant. Life is Strange 2. They had Super Tales, that platformer game, which I guess Super Tales, and they had The Last Night, which was like that Blade Runner-esque thing. I think
the Dragon Ball Z fighting game.
Yeah, I think what they did interesting this year is they didn't use they didn't use Gears and Halo as a crutch, right? It's good to see one conference from Xbox that didn't rely on Halo and Gears of War. So I respect them for that. Andrew, what about you? What were your highs and lows about that Microsoft conference?
I would say in the beginning when they started going about the Xbox, Scorpio, or now the X, stupid fucking name.
Yeah.
I would say I would just sit there like Spencer was just going around about that, and I could not give a single fuck about what he was saying about it, because every time I go to the conference, I'm like, I want the games, give me the games, and he just kept going on and on about it. I was like, oh my god, move it, come on, let's move it. And when they finally showed the games, some were interesting, like the Fox game, that one game, the Dragon Ball Z game got me fucking hyped.
Yeah.
The Dragon Ball Z game got me fucking hyped. It looks fucking beautiful, made by the people of Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue. Crackdown look pretty fun. Not gonna lie, and but that was really about it. And also, I had to say, like, them constantly showing indie game after indie game after indie game after indie game. I'm like, what the fuck, man? What the hell?
Yeah.
Not to say I have anything against indie games, but I'm like, you're overblowing it. Like you're pushing it too far with the indie games. And
they did take a lot of the indie games for their montage, and I do agree they spent a lot of time on extending out those showcases for some of those indie games. So last night they showed a bit more
last
of it.
night,
last night is good though, man. I love that.
That looks so good.
Yeah,
but I would say it was an okay conference. Like there was really nothing that really enticed me to get an Xbox, and some of the games that really caught my eye, they're gonna be on the PS4, so there's really no point in wasting $500 fucking dollars. And Shadow of Mordor, the Shadow of Mordor, I remember my friends, they were very excited when they saw it, and I was like, wait, what is that? Oh, it's a sequel. And to what? And they told me it's Shadows of Mordor, and they told me, like, dude, get the game because it's really, really fucking good. And apparently there's a Game of the Year edition on Amazon, so I'm picking that up and seeing what all the hype is about.
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah.
Zach, before I go into you, I want to quickly address something Amrinda said that, I get the argument, right? The PC argument, also on PC. So why would you ever want to get Xbox One? I do feel as though this conference was, like you said, for Xbox owners. So, I mean, to the PC guys, maybe it's a bonus, right? They hear about games that they'll also be getting. But it's primarily for the Xbox audience who want to look forward to games on any of the SKUs of Xbox One they have, whether it be One, the S, or that kind of thing. So in that regard, I don't think it really matters if it's also, because whoever complained about things also being on PC, it's like a silver lining, right? So to criticize that, I think it's just a stupid argument to criticize that when it's more gaming for more people.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, here's the thing. I always think that it's people come into these conferences with their own, like, predetermined, okay, I don't really care about this. If you come in with that attitude, you're not going to like what you see anyway. If you already have a PS4, then it's going to be pretty hard for you to be convinced to get an Xbox. But
I agree.
When you look at an overall conference, you can't just exclude the multi-platform games. It's that's always crazy, whether they're on PC or Xbox or they're on both systems. That's what, like, when you look at a conference, you look at what they're showing, what's going to be on that system. Yeah. When I'm thinking about buying an Xbox One, sure, I'm looking at exclusives, but that's only because I have a PS4.
Yeah.
They're also trying to convince people there's a lot of people that still are on last gen. There are people that don't even have a console right now. They're trying to convince people on PC, like, less so now, but they're like,
I know what you mean.
They're
preconception.
I mean, Microsoft has their own store on PC, so of course they're gonna have it on PC.
Yeah,
they're making the money off of that too.
Exactly.
Like, I always think that I hate the mood that most people come into E3 with. It's just like.
Yeah. So Zach, sorry, I know it's been a while since I came back to you. So your thoughts on Microsoft conference? I know you had really interesting thoughts on the Microsoft conference.
Yeah, I actually have a lot of thoughts on it. I thought it was pretty average, and the reason why is because even though they had great pacing, when you're talking about a 4K machine that's sort of a high-end console, if you even consider that a term. Well, I guess you do now with the Pro, but too much focus on indies when you're trying to show off 4K. I thought the Minecraft 4K thing was kind of laughable, to be honest. I mean,
look at these. Look at the graphics. Look at these amazing graphics.
Yeah, pixelated 4K graphics. It made no sense to me. Too much focus on indies. As far as the first party, there were no major first party new IP. It was Forza at the beginning. That was it. Everything else they relied on third party and indie. I thought that was a big mistake. When you're coming out with a new device, you really need to. That's the thing about Sony is, I hate to break off, but they take risks a lot on new IP instead of just being derivative and just sticking to the old formula. And Microsoft they I don't know what it is, but they just refuse to invest in first party, and I don't know why. So that was my biggest issue. Also, part of the reason why I thought it was average is because Microsoft themselves hyped it up so much. Did anyone see the picture of the people in the audience wearing the T-shirt saying, "I just witnessed the most powerful console ever"? That was cringeworthy when I saw that. I couldn't believe that was a thing. Feel true power. All these like slogans they were coming out with. People holding up the chip. Major Nelson and Aaron Greenberg. It's like, come on, man. And then it's just basically a slightly more powerful PS4 Pro. Digital Foundry broke down Assassin's Creed Origins and Anthem, and they're using the same checkerboard rendering technique to achieve 4K as PS4 Pro. So they hyped it too much. I think that was a big mistake.
They talk about native 4K. Is that real or not? Because a lot of people say it's not running 4K, even though they're saying it will run games natively at 4K.
So Mark Cerny at the PS4 Pro demonstration said it's about 80% when you use checkerboard rendering. It's about 80% accurate to native 4K. You have to see them side by side. You need to have a trained eye to notice this, and you have to be very up close to notice the checkerboard rendering artifacts. It's almost identical. You really, the average person cannot tell the difference between checkerboard and native 4K.
How relevant do you think 4K is to the masses right now? Is 4K as demanded as they say it is? Because I know people who barely care about 1080p, let alone 4K gaming. I know there's a section of the community that really cares about it. They want a future.
All I know is until they lower the price, I'm never going to get a 4K because a 4K is way too crazy expensive. And I just got a new HD TV, and again, like there's no incentive for me to get a 4K. Like I'm fine with my HD 2080p television. And the price for the 4K is too fucking ridiculous to get at this point in time. It's probably gonna get cheaper as time goes on, but there's really no enticement for me to get it.
It doesn't add anything to the game. That's my problem. When you look at it, this is what you're doing. When you are at 4K, even if they did achieve true 4K, you're never going to get 60 FPS, which actually changes how you play a game. It feels better. You play better. There's a real difference between 30 FPS and 60 FPS. I played on 144 hertz, and there's not a big difference between 60 and 144. But you can immediately tell how smooth and good the gameplay can be for 60 and 30. So they're going to be focusing on actually demoting how well like a game actually feels for visual fidelity, but you're also going to be like, I feel like you can achieve better looking games at 1080p if you focus on how good the textures are more than if you render in 4K. It makes no sense. That I agree with you guys in that sense. When I look at this conference, I kind of like take out the Xbox One X and I just look at the games because they're gonna play on both games. They're gonna play on both consoles. So and I agree. I forgot to mention the whole the backwards compatibility and adding the original Xbox. I thought that was really awesome. So
that was awesome. That one console will now play Xbox One, Xbox 360, Xbox game. I think that's a beautiful thing.
That's good. Yeah, that's great.
What they lack in the first party catalog, to Zach's point, I guess it's a cheap way, but it's a cheap way of expanding that library, right? For people who didn't care. So retrospectively, they can go back and kind of appreciate those. Before I move on to Bethesda's conference, I want to talk about the fact that Microsoft don't really care about augmented reality or VR right now. Were you surprised that they decided not to go Sony's route with the VR stuff? Because, like, what do you think of that? You think VR is going to take off right now, or it's just pointless?
I think the reason they never went VR is because I think they just didn't want to risk getting accused of ripping off. I'm guessing that's the reason why they never went with the VR.
But they had Oculus.
I mean, they they might in the future, but I don't think it's really in their best interest to go that direction right now.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think VR is going to be relevant until like 5-10 years down the line. Because I've tried an Oculus before. My friend owns an Oculus. I've played his PSVR, and it's honestly they're just not there yet. I don't think they're there yet. Like there's really is still like I think it's cool, but you also one thing is you don't have enough games that are actually good on the actual VR. You're still gonna, if you play for more than like an hour, maybe even less, your eyes are gonna start hurting. You're gonna start feeling nauseous. That's actually a thing that they're still trying to solve, even though they say they've decreased it like by a large grade. I mean, I can't imagine using those dev kits that were originally there that had that much like nausea and shit. Like they haven't solved movement in VR yet because like you can't do fast-paced games. That's gonna make you sick. There's just too many things to solve, and I think it's smart of them not to invest in that. Yeah. And if you're going to do VR, you want to go high end. It doesn't matter. I don't think there's a point to PSVR.
Yeah.
So I think it's smart.
I agree with you, because even now the consumer units are still quite cumbersome, right? They got loads of wiring. You need a shit ton of space to get that shit going. It's just cumbersome and that kind of thing. Zach, before I move on to Bethesda, what are your final thoughts on the fact that Microsoft didn't focus on VR or anything? Do you think it's something that it was smart? Sorry.
Phil Spencer actually went on Giant Bomb's live stream and did an interview with Jeff Gerstmann, and he said that the reason that they haven't gotten into VR is because he feels that exactly what Grease just said, they're not there yet. He wants them to lose the cords so it's completely wireless. He wants to wait until it's more up to date with what you would expect with a virtual reality experience before they jump in. So they want to kind of sit out and just see where it goes before they jump in and take that risk.
Okay. I mean, I kind of agree. It's kind of weird that Microsoft was showing what was it? That was the augmented reality thing where you see the things in your environment. They really pushed that. I think it was the year before last. And then they stopped talking about that completely. But they had Minecraft going on the table or something. And they totally completely forgot that in the last 2 years. So I think you're right though. Unless you can get those consumer units to be really, really friendly, right, to people, just go in, pick it up, no cords, none of that crap. Then there's no point investing that much into it early on and hoping people will adopt. And word of mouth isn't really the best either, because you can't demo it in some small stores like the mom and pop stores, gaming ones, or you need these big locations to do it. And people don't want to pay. And you heard about that, Zach, didn't you? In the UK, they were charging people £5 to come in, demo, check out the VR. No one's going to pay money to check it out. So I think they kind of missed the ball this. I'm kind of glad it's Microsoft.
But, I know he's not here, but go ahead.
Pay for a demo? What bullshit is that?
You pay to get on a waiting list to try out VR, right? PlayStation VR. So
that's horseshit. That's horseshit.
Yeah, it is, man.
To Grease's point, I know he's not here right now, but I do think he said there's no point to PSVR. I do think there is a point. I think it's an affordable way for people to get into it, and I think through this early process, the first few years where it's sort of rough, I think people actually learn from this experience, and VR in 5 years will improve because of what we're experiencing right now. So I think it's important that people are doing it right now, so we can learn what to fix and what to improve on.
You think early adopters might get pissed though that there's going to be so many iterative models of these headsets that once they get it right, people would have spent thousands and thousands of dollars.
Certainly they will, but I think this is the only way that developers will really understand how VR can thrive is through this early stage right now. I really think that it's necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I guess get out the gate early so that it has time to kind of set in with the community. Right. Yeah, so now I want to talk about Bethesda. The only thing I have to say about Bethesda before I start with you, Grease, is that for me, the reason I'm biased for Bethesda, but that's the only reason is because by the end of this year, I said this, that they will have had 3 games that they published that I'm actually interested in 2017. So that enough for me was wow, they were output that I actually give a shit about. And it's not Fallout and it's not Skyrim. So there's 3 games, obviously. They had Prey, they're going to have Dishonored DLC, they're going to have Wolfenstein, they're going to have, what was that other game? Evil Within. So, Grease, what did you think of Bethesda's conference? What did it mean to you?
So, to me, it was a tale of 2 halves. Really. Because the first half of it, I thought, oh, man, this isn't what I was expecting, because last year, they opened it up with like Doom or something. It was crazy. Last year's conference was like perfect, in my opinion, except they might have like been on Fallout for a little too long. But this time around, the first half, when they're doing all of the little, the Skyrim VR, the card game, and like all the other like ancillary stuff related to Elder Scrolls, I was starting to check out at that point. But I felt like their second half was good enough to overturn all that, because I thought the Wolfenstein trailer was the best trailer I saw all E3. That was so good. I was like, just the tone of it, you didn't really like. I kind of figured what it was because it had already leaked what the announcements were. Yeah. But even despite that, like the games look really good. The characters I want to come back are back. Dishonored 2 was a great game, and the subject matter of the DLC is really intriguing if you're a fan of that series.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it really pulls you in for those fans. And then the Evil Within 2, I played a little bit of Evil Within, but I know it was a solid game. But that trailer was pretty interesting. But I don't know if it completely has me to the point where I really, really want to play it. I don't do well with horror games at all. I was playing Prey yesterday, and the beginning of that just kind of terrified me. I stopped playing. So
you go through Resident Evil, though. You go through Resident Evil 7.
I did, which is completely surprising to me. I think playing it on live stream and people laughing at me kind of helped, but like me sitting alone in a room playing Prey, oh my god. So I think the thing is, for Bethesda, I always look forward to last conference and this conference, because they really just put out solid games. They're that dab that really doesn't have any crappy games.
Yeah.
I just think that the Elder Scrolls games, I think, are a little overrated, just because there are a lot of things that I've always wanted them to fix that they never do. One of the things that always pisses me off is this notion that everything needs to be interactable.
Yeah.
So, like, you're picking up useless mugs and shit and all that stuff. And if they got rid of all of that, they could actually, like, focus on other things, and the game would run better. It would look better. Their models would look better. So, in that regard, Bethesda has kind of irked me. But otherwise, Doom was phenomenal. That's one of the best shooters I've played ever. And just the pacing of it, the like, just how beautiful it is in its own way. And even Wolfenstein, when I played last year or 2 years ago, it's just like an all-around really solid game. It knows its mechanics. They know how to do that kind of stuff. They're good in their own genre. They're just masters at it. So I think it could have been better if for the first half, but the second half, it still drew me back in, and I still thought it was solid.
Yeah. Before I go to you, Andrew, just to point, it's funny you said that, like, Skyrim's got pointless mugs and items and shit. Like, there's no reason for this. It's funny they didn't learn from Dishonored or Prey, where things that are in the environment actually have a use, right? So you can throw it to distract someone, stick something on it, and throw it, right? So it's funny they haven't learned from the other studios. And the next thing is, I'm glad you really enjoyed the Wolfenstein thing, because I remember when the first Wolfenstein came out, the reason it got hyped so much is because people expected it to be a mindless run and gun shooter, but it had great cinematics, had a great story. So they were able to show you that Wolfenstein isn't just this mindless shooter where you're killing Nazis. It's got a world, it's got a story, a narrative, a style, basically. So it's good that they managed to convey that, and that was very cinematic centric. That showcase was. So Andrew, your thoughts on Bethesda's conference and what those games mean to you?
Well, all I'll say is about I thought they had a pretty good conference, but the thing that really got me incredibly hyped was Evil Within 2. I was so fucking hyped, and I was so bummed out last year that they didn't announce it. I mean, I really enjoy Evil Within, and I fucking got to find doing the sequel, because I'm currently right now installing it again so that I can replay it in preparation for the sequel. And yeah, everything else, like you said, like Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, look, I never played Skyrim, Elder Scrolls. I never played, and never really, those games are not really my thing. They never really caught my eye. I never really gave too much of crap about. But this Dishonored 2 thing, was really interesting. I still need to get Dishonored 2 and all that. I would say overall, pretty good, pretty good conference. The Evil Within 2 really got me incredibly hyped, because I'm a huge fan of that game.
I feel they could have shown a bit more for Evil Within, especially since it skipped last year. I feel as though, like, Evil Within is by Shinji Mikami, the guy who originally created Resident Evil and the Resident Evil remake. So he's a big name on it. I think they could have showed a bit more because it was like a montage, right, of gameplay.
I was hoping for a playthrough, but just the fact that it's announced that it's a thing, I'm happy. I'm happy.
One thing Bethesda did better than any other conference, the release dates, right? 2 games in October, right? Like, which was Evil Within and Dishonored DLC and Wolfenstein, I think, or maybe Dishonored before. So having release dates right around the corner was enough to make up for the short length and the little small showing of it, I think. Zach, what about you? What did you think of Bethesda's conference?
I thought it was an okay conference. I thought the first half was a bit boring. I liked the presentation. I liked the intro video they did, and the Fallout style, like Bethesda Land. I thought that was pretty cool. But Elder Scrolls Legends card game, like Skyrim again, like Skyrim was such a great game, but I feel like with time that game has gotten so stale. Like, I've gone back to the special edition. That game has not aged well, and they just keep like selling out Skyrim to all these different platforms. It's like, just stop and make Elder Scrolls 6 and completely innovate the gameplay and everything. Just start fresh.
They're relying too much on its success instead of making something. Yeah.
New. 2, 3, 4 years ago, I might not have been forgiving of something like that, where you're prostituting out Skyrim and Elder Scrolls. But for me, I didn't know how well Evil Within did. I didn't know how well Dishonored 2 did. I wasn't even sure how well Wolfenstein did. For these games to get sequels in some shape or form, whether it be DLC or full-on sequels, I think I can almost justify for Bethesda prostituting out Skyrim to Switch or Morrowind remake or something like that, just so they can make that money, so they can pull it back into these sequels to games which may not have been sold 1 million or 2 million or whatever their kind of milestone they wanted to reach. So part of me kind of forgave them, but I would never have forgiven them if those other games weren't announced during that conference. I think that, for me, that was the kind of tipping point. Do you think
that's fair enough? I mean, Evil Within and Wolfenstein, though, those got me really hyped. I think those were enough, really, to sort of even it out and make it a solid conference. Evil Within is a very flawed game, but it had a lot of potential, and I'm very excited to see what they do with the sequel. Wolfenstein is fantastic. It's one of the best shooters in the last 5 years. It's up there with Doom. It's in that upper echelon for me. And I thought both trailers were fantastic ways of showing franchises. And I like that there was a little bit of gameplay at the end, not too much. And there you can find more gameplay of those games if you look online during like PlayStation Live games and stuff. They did actually go more into it, and you can find more footage. It just wasn't at the conference.
Okay. Yeah. All right, now we're going to Sony, man. I think you guys all want to talk about Sony. For me, all I'll say is, just before I start with you, Grease, that obviously they had 3 big games at that show, which were all shown last year. So that was a point of contention for people. Overall, about Sony's conference, highs and lows, what do you think, Grease?
Sony's was easily my favorite, like, by far, even if it was rehashed. The thing is, I applaud Sony for doing this. Last year, the thing it blew almost every conference they'd done out of the water that last year's, because like the Year of Dreams and all that, the succession of trailers was insane. Now, if you think about it, there's a lot of people that fault Sony for not showing The Last of Us 2, more Final Fantasy VII Remake, like the unannounced IPs that they're holding back. They subtract from it for those reasons. And to me, I don't feel that's fair, because first of all, if you read up anything about Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's in development hell. It is
exactly.
It is in development hell. There is no going around it. Last of Us 2, I was surprised they even had a trailer for that ready yet.
Yeah. So it's so far out, that game. 2019 at the earliest.
Expecting that to be, I didn't expect that to be there either. So the main disappointment for me is like these they usually get some Japanese devs to do some like really outside the box IPs, which I really wanted them to do. Like, I wanted that Bloodborne 2, I wanted the Neo of this year or something. I wanted those kinds of things, but I didn't get those. But what I did get was, that God of War trailer like got me so hyped.
Mm-hmm.
Like that game looks so good. I don't care if it was already announced, but showing more of that, like, I just got me back to another level. And then that Spider-Man reveal at the end was really good. And like the thing that I keep reading about is the QTEs, which I get, but overall, like that's like something we haven't had footage of before. So it's really big to have that at the conference, and people are excited for it. There's that. They had Ni no Kuni, which they talked about before the conference. I'm going to count it because that needs more exposure. Ni no Kuni is one of the best RPGs ever made, in my opinion. So I'm gonna be there. Uncharted 4's DLC, that looks fantastic. Like, and then like I didn't think I was ready for this, but Shadow of the Colossus, that remake. I was like, oh my, like it looks so good. I didn't even know I wanted this, but I do. Like
right when I saw the bridge, I got goosebumps immediately.
Man, the hair on the Titans, like just how sharp it looks. That music, the all-time greatest soundtrack in all of gaming. Like, oh my god, they gave me exactly what I wanted. Everything was exciting to me. I didn't care if it was old or new, but the footage was new. So that's what I cared about. They didn't fall into the trap of being really far out, announcing stuff that they're gonna probably have to delay. That's the kind of stuff that I wanted to applaud them for. So overall, it's my favorite conference. I have a PS4, but it's not like I have a PC, I have an Xbox, I have a PS4, I have a 3DS. So it's not even like I'm like a super Sony person either. So I just thought overall they were the most exciting.
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, like anyone who knows me from the earlier part of this year, the only console I've been playing all year is friggin' PS4, whether it be Yakuza, friggin' Nier, Persona 5, Prey. So there's no bias or anything from us. And I actually agree to your point that Shadow of Colossus was actually surprising because Last Guardian, as far as I know, didn't do as well as they expected. Right? It's from the same Fuera, I forgot his name. You guys probably know his name. He didn't do too well from Last Guardian. For them to actually go, you know what? Let's do a Shadow Colossus remake. Let's reignite interest in that. And they've already got a remaster, right? Like a HD remaster of the Icon thing. So that was a big surprise. I think. Yeah, I actually agree that even if you look at what the footage was there, objectively, like what was shown was new stuff we didn't know. So God of War actually interests people that might not have been interested in the old God of War, where crowd was shouting 24/7, just slashing people up. This was more thought-provoking. It was more paced. It was kind of trimmed back. The combat seemed to be a lot more strategic, that kind of thing. So I do agree with you, Emrinde. It was a very good conference. Even despite rehashes and that kind of thing. So Andrew, your thoughts on Sony's conference? Your highs and lows about it?
Overall, I thought it was by far the best conference in all of E3 this year. And really the only low for me is that I just felt like it was too short. That's really the only complaint I would ever give it. But overall, I thought it was a damn great conference, starting out with the Uncharted DLC. Just building and building up. And also, I gotta plug Days Gone. It just looks so fucking great. And I know a lot of people were kind of giving it a little bit of shit because apparently it was similar to Last of Us. But you also got to understand, Last of Us was, when it came out, it blew up. So yes, so Last of Us is going to inspire a lot of games, to not necessarily copy, but it's going to inspire a future generation of gaming. And Days Gone to me, it's not exactly like Last of Us I see, in terms of like the vibes. But to me, it's by no means a Last of Us ripoff, because and what I love about Days Gone is it's kind of like a biker game and an apocalypse game combined. I love how you can use like the creatures, the zombies or whatever the fuck they're called, to your advantage. To your advantage to get some stuff done. I love that aspect. And we got what else? And the Spider-Man game. Oh my god, the Spider-Man game was fucking amazing. It's like Arkham City, but with Spider-Man and with the whole Spider-Man mythos. I just fucking loved it, man. Yeah. So yeah, Sony and the Shadow of Colossus remake. Holy shit! Just watching all that like with new graphics built from the ground up, just look fucking beautiful, man.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
so
mostly,
yeah,
I agree.
Sony for me was the best conference this E3.
I agree with you that Insomniac Spider-Man is exciting. Just knowing that Insomniac's doing Spider-Man is enough. Like, you know that beyond that gameplay demonstration, there's a whole lot more to it, right? You end up playing a game which is way better than you think it's going to be. And I think Insomniac's game's going to be awesome. You know, what do you think? I know you bought Last of Us 2 when you talked about Days Gone, Andrew. Do you think that there's too many games of this type anyway? This kind of open world game where you're sneaking through grass, waiting for mobs to go. So we had Horizon, Assassin's Creed, Tomb Raider. We've got MGS5, which kind of follows the same format. Do you think we're moving towards this game where we keep sandbox open world games where the mechanics are the same? You tap a button to crouch, you hide in grass, then you stealth kill. Do you think there's too many of this type of design of games? Then you got the Dead Rising aspect coming into the game where it feels like a mishmash. Do you think we've got too many of these types of games, or do you think this did something just enough right for it to be kind of compelling when it comes out? Because they look like so many different games that I've played, you know, particularly Horizon and Tomb Raider and Assassins and MGS5.
I believe
And Last of Us.
I believe it's fine as long as it fits the narrative, the story, and gameplay. Like if it fits, like if it serves a purpose for that, you know, mechanic to be there. Like if it's the narrative of the story of the gameplay, then for me it's not really a problem. To me it's not really a problem. Like if it fits, like then there's no problem to it.
Yeah, if it fits the tone of the story they're going for, then it all comes together at the end. So I can agree. For me, it could either be hit or miss. You know, you never know once the game comes out. Zach, what about you, man? Sony conference.
So
Highs and lows for you.
when I first finished the conference, I thought it was like a 7. I was like, this is good, but not as good as previous years. And then I thought about it, and I said, the biggest complaint people leverage against Sony is they say, oh, they announce games that don't come out for 3 or 4 years. Well, they held back this time to avoid that. Most of the games are coming early to at least 2018, and then you have some stuff in the fall. So you're not seeing that 2019, 2020. They actually held back on that. So that complaint goes out the window as far as I'm concerned. Uncharted DLC looked very good. Shadow of the Colossus completely took me by surprise. I couldn't believe it. That's one of my favorite games of all time. And one of the biggest complaints people have against that is the controls are very clunky. Shuhei Yoshida did an interview, and he said that they are revamping the controls to be modernized, and they'll have an option for people who want the original controls. Yeah. So if that gets fixed, people will have no more complaints. That game, I don't know if you could potentially move it up the ladder of all-time greats for the remake, but that game was already incredible with flawed controls. So just imagine what it'll be like now.
Absolutely. I think Last Guardian had that issue as well with flawed controls. So I'm glad that at least now that they're looking at Shadow Colossus, they're actually going to add a revised control scheme, you know, because I know a lot of people who played Last Guardian were really pissed that they couldn't get Trico, the beast, to freaking do what you want. The kids are shouting and he's jumping backwards, and it's kind of, you know, interesting to do that. I know it's a very
Blue Point's doing it. Blue Point's doing it. They're like the best like porting studio or like remake.
Oh yeah,
studio.
they are.
So
they are. Were you guys kind of?
Destiny also I thought looked really good, and Spider-Man looked fantastic.
Destiny, I'm gonna give Destiny a shot again.
Yeah. You know, were there any announcements there that you were disappointed? I know you guys bought a Bloodborne too. The guys who made Until Dawn, which was like a sleeper hit for Sony, I wanted to see their next game. You know, even if it was multi-platform, it would have been interesting to see the Until Dawn guys.
Well, their next game was actually there. Did you see that VR game, The Inpatient? That's actually an Until Dawn prequel.
Oh, it's a prequel to Until Dawn?
Yeah, it's 60 years before Until Dawn. It's a VR exclusive.
No, I didn't know that.
The Inpatient. Yeah.
A VR exclusive?
Really?
Yep.
What?
PSVR.
I'm gonna have to use my friend's PSVR then.
Wow, that's fucking annoying though, man. VR, I'm not gonna spend it on VR. Hopefully it doesn't Resident Evil stuff.
I brought up the shortcomings of the other conferences, but that chunk in the middle where they were just showing VR games, that actually annoyed me. Yeah. I don't know. It dragged so long. Yeah. It's like VR, VR. I was looking for that logo in the corner to go away.
Yeah. Exactly right. I was like, oh come on, when's that VR thing at the bottom left or right? Go away. So we move on to the next games. Zach, what else? Were there any things that were missing that you were disappointed about? Anything else you think you could have done better?
Bloodborne. I mean, we talked about that earlier off air, but Bloodborne for sure. That's one of that could be in my top 3 games of all time. I just love that game so much. Really, I cannot wait for a sequel. I'm worried they're not going to do it because I've heard From Software's working on Armored Core and a new IP, and there was some rumor on Reddit that they're working on a kung fu combat game set in like it has like an Aztec setting or something. It was on Reddit like a few days ago. So I'm worried that they're not actually working on it, but I'm gonna hold that hope for PSX, and we'll see. If it's not there, then I'll start to actually become worried. But what else?
Yeah.
Sucker Punch. I was kind of shocked that Sucker Punch did not show up. Infamous Second Son came out over 3 years ago now. It was March 2014. So where's Sucker Punch?
Yeah.
What are they doing? Shuhei Yoshida, I think he did an interview 2 years ago saying that the game was in a playable state. So like, what is that game like struggling to get finished?
Yeah, he was teasing that Sucker Punch were working on it, and he was constantly checking in with them, and it's in the playable state. So maybe PSX at the end of the year.
I think it's going to be PSX. He said he's played it so many times now. He just said that on Twitter.
He said it again.
Like...
an interview with Greg Miller. He said it again.
Yeah.
Sony have that advantage. They can spread their message across the year, right? Like, they don't need to shove everything into E3 because everyone looks forward to PSX, and you got the fans there, right? At PSX. Yeah. So the hype from that, I think, arguably bet more than E3 most years. I think.
I think The Last of Us Part 2 showing up at PSX sort of elevated PSX and its importance as far as like reveals go. Like, you can now consider PSX a legitimate conference now, like up there with E3 in terms of where PlayStation prioritizes it. I think putting The Last of Us there really showed that they take it seriously.
You think they skip Gamescom anyway, so it's like a replacement.
Yeah. You think we'll see Death Stranding at PSX? Or you think we've seen too much of Death Stranding already?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
Gameplay next E3.
I don't want to see it for like 3 years.
Yeah, same. Until it's just around the corner.
When it's done, if they're gonna be all right, this fall it's coming out. That's when I want it.
All right. Let's move on to Nintendo now. I think this is last but not least Nintendo's conference. A lot of people have mixed thoughts on it. Most people are positive on it. I'm not overwhelmingly positive on it, but I'm more positive than I could ever be about Nintendo at any given time. I thought they had some great announcements. Maybe not some good reveals, but they had some great announcements for their conference. Amranda, what do you think? Let's start with you. Your thoughts on Nintendo. I know you're very outspoken on it. You hold them next to Microsoft's conference, right?
Microsoft. I said they tied Microsoft and Bethesda as solid.
Yeah.
So it's not that I didn't like the conference. I just don't think it was the best one. The thing with me is there's so many people that discredit my opinion about that conference. That's what gets me riled up, and that's why I'm pursuing people. But I thought their conference was solid. I want to address the main thing with me. I did not like I said, Death Stranding. I didn't want that announced last year. I didn't want it announced until it was a year or maybe the year it comes out. Everyone goes back to last year's PlayStation conference when the trio was announced, right?
Yeah.
They say, okay, look how great that moment was. And what my most anticipated game this entire E3 was Metroid Prime 4. Okay?
Yeah.
So they had a chance to blow me away. And I have a reaction video out there of my exact reaction. Yeah. I'm about to
I saw your reaction.
Goddamn mind. When they're about to they announce it, and then it just says in development.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you serious? Like I was so mad. I was like, I can't believe this is they didn't even have a CG trailer. They had nothing to. This is like one of the most requested things everyone has wanted forever, and I think most people actually assumed it was in development. So I wanted an announcement that would blow me away, and I didn't get that. Now, the thing is, the only the positive I took out of that was okay. They're not making. I don't know if they specified if it was retro or not.
It's not. It's not retro. Yeah.
It's not
retro.
It's
a new studio. They created a new studio specifically to develop this game.
Oh my god! So even my other point is going to be invalid then. My point was at least we know that Retro is not making another Donkey Kong, but they might be. So
Donkey Kong Country 3.
Yeah, I want them to make Donkey Kong 64 too. But
who made Federation? Who made Federation Force? Who made Federation Force?
I don't know who made Federation Force.
I hope they're not making Metroid 4.
Yeah. So I thought the trailer that I liked the most in their entire conference was actually Mario. The last Mario trailer was really awesome. That whole hat throwing mechanic when you turn into all kinds of different things. That's gonna be so refreshing in Mario when the mechanics are so good in Mario, and that's why people love it. But changing it up to that degree, and it actually looks like it's gonna work so well. Not only that, but they did like the tease in the beginning when it looks like some dinosaur game. Like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
And just seeing Mario in a city setting is just like kind of heartwarming for some reason. It's just like so weird, but like awesome at the same time. Xenoblade, I'm really excited for. I finished Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I did hear that the developers actually like the whole point of Xenoblade is really the grandiose nature of it. But this time he's focusing more on like romance. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure about that. And I kind of don't like the aesthetic of the characters that they're going for right now because Xenoblade originally kind of looked similar to my favorite Final Fantasy game, which is 12. Like the characters were similar to that. So that Rocket League I think is great for the Switch. That's going to be a good game to have with you. I don't know if you're gonna need some mobile Wi-Fi or something, but to have if you could actually like realistically play Rocket League wherever you want. I love that small studio had so much success. So I wish them all the best. I did not care for Yoshi. I did not care for Kirby. And then Fire Emblem Warriors I don't care about. The Breath of the Wild shit I didn't care about. So those four things really went over my head. And then the little tidbit with they're making the bigger announcement to Metroid for me was that they're actually making a Pokemon game for Switch. Because that was something no one really thought would happen because every generation people are asking for it. So that's their biggest announcement for me. They went down a few notches because they botched Metroid for me. So that's the main thing that I really hold against them. But I think it was a solid conference.
Yeah, I think the only gripe people had was they had a Fire Emblem Direct earlier this year, and they didn't have a release date for the Fire Emblem they announced in that conference, which actually bugged people because I know Fire Emblem's actually an important franchise to people.
Echoes?
They didn't have a release date for that. I think that was the only real thing I heard that bugged people. Andrew, your highs and lows about the Nintendo conference?
I thought Nintendo overall had a very good conference. I really love to start with Mario Odyssey. And by the way, to all the people saying that Mario Odyssey is racist towards Mexicans, can go fuck yourself because that is the most loaded.
The poncho
I've ever heard in my poncho, the sombrero, the guitar. Like fuck you.
Yeah,
and
they're all references
the
to
Metro
old games,
Prime.
right?
Sorry?
Yeah.
The costumes.
And the Metroid Prime thing was fucking awesome. Like holy shit! So many fucking years people have asked for a new Metro game, and finally it's coming.
It's in development.
Was a little pissed, no trailer, no.
I respect,
but at least we know it's coming. At least we know it's in development. At least we know it's happening. Okay, it's coming.
Yeah.
Everything.
I respect
cool. That. Xenoblade. Never played Xenoblade in my life, so I don't know anything about Xenoblade. Rocket League. I think that's gonna help the Switch a lot because Rocket League it's like the current thing. It's like it's on fire right now, and overall, I would say it was a good conference overall.
Yeah. I think you can respect Nintendo for going back to the drawing board with Mario and Zelda. Because obviously Zelda Breath of the Wild is more open, right? It's like the old Zeldas, like the Zelda Link's Awakening, Link to the Past and all that stuff. But in a 3D setting and, you get to do your own thing, explore. They don't hold your hand. Mario Odyssey seems to be back to the Mario 64.
It's doing something creative with it's doing something, fun and creative with Mario, which is, what Mario is. That's why people love Mario, because it's creative and fun.
Yeah. Before I say, I think one gripe might be that that can't be understated is that obviously Switch has just come out, right? The console has just come out. So to not have things to show for announcements you have should be a concern to people. I know Sony showed a lot, even though they were rehashed, right? So if you're going to announce something, I think it can't be understated that you should have at least something to show, if not even a CGI trailer. I don't think maybe because the Pokemon RPG is so a long time coming, they should have had maybe a concept, right? A concept of what it would have been like on the consoles with Pokemon. Sorry?
Before
I know you. Exactly. Zach, your thoughts on Nintendo's conference?
I thought it's either tied with Microsoft or just slightly above, but not by much. Probably tied. Man, the Metroid thing really bugs me. I only played the first Metroid Prime. I didn't play 2 and 3. But I know how much people are waiting for that game. It's been 10 years, and they just started development. Who knows how long this is going to take now? And it's not retro. That's going to worry a lot of people who are dedicated fans of the series. The Pokemon thing is the big takeaway. But no footage suggests, once again, that they just started development. So 3-4 years from now, maybe we'll see it. I don't really know. Pokken Tournament Deluxe, whatever, big deal. I'm really shocked that they did not show Smash Deluxe from Wii U coming to Switch. I can't believe that they're not doing that. Odyssey looked great, but I watched some gameplay on the Treehouse after the conference ended, and I'm a little worried. That Hubtown, New Donk City, or whatever it's called, it looks very gray and sort of boring, and it doesn't fit the aesthetic. Maybe it's supposed to contrast with Mario, but dull, the city. So we'll see. But the gameplay looks like it's returning to the old school style of 64 Sunshine that people have wanted for so long. So hopefully it lives up to that, and maybe I'll get a Switch within the next year. We'll see. I have to see more. Fire Emblem Warriors didn't do anything for me. Yoshi, Kirby, nothing.
They're getting a bit experimental with Mario, obviously, because him in Rabbids game and having him in such weird, bizarre settings, right? In Odyssey, I think they decided that now they're going to get a bit free and loose with their characters. They're no longer going to try to shove him into the Mario Galaxy model, the Super Mario Land 3D model, the 2.5D, the 2D model. They want to maybe push out things. So I can respect them for that overall.
The thing is, one thing, I think there's two things else to take away from this. You can look at it two ways. You can respect Nintendo for this reason, or you can say that they're kind of panicking. This is 1 year. How long has Switch been out? A year? Less than a year?
Less than a year, isn't it?
Yeah. So
March, 3 months.
They've already hit up most of their core franchises.
Yeah.
If you think about it, that almost feels like a bit of a panic to me. They did Zelda. They're doing Mario, they're doing Yoshi, they're doing Kirby, they're doing Pokemon, they're doing Metroid. The only thing they're missing is Animal Crossing or Pikmin. They don't have much to
Splatoon is off.
This.
Splatoon is
full on they're gonna have to take risks. They're gonna have to have that Wonderful 101 type game or something. I don't know what's to come after this. That's the thing that I'm worried about. But to their credit, they're actually giving people the types of games they'd want.
Yeah. How last minute do you think some of those announcements were? You think Metroid Prime 4 was a last minute?
Okay, the Pokemon one was 100% last minute. That was I'm not gonna even say, but I'm just gonna say Attack on Titan reference. That it was oh, by the way, okay. I was okay, what did you really just say that? And it was they're having a casual conversation. The other thing that really bothers me is that they didn't have that Metroid 2 remake from the Treehouse thing in their conference. They have a 3DS game coming out.
Oh yeah, the 2D one, side-scrolling one, yeah.
Yes,
that one. I saw that afterwards.
That is actually really exciting.
That is. Oh, geez,
how did you leave that out of your conference?
Yeah. Do you know what they also left out at the conference? Last year they had 2 Japanese developers walk out. No More Heroes 3. Remember they announced No More Heroes, and the guy who made Yakuza and Binary Domain came out and says, "I'm making a game for Switch." At least friggin' announce the name of that game that he's announcing. He's not some small tier. You love Yakuza 0, maybe arguably your game of the year this year, next to Persona maybe. So for that guy to come on to Switch's stage and say, "I'm making a game," and they're not even being in this direct, I was like, where the frick is that game?
This is what I'm worried about with Metroid and Pokemon. It's probably not good. I'm willing to bet Metroid doesn't actually show up in any state for at least the next 2 years, and it's probably not releasing for the next like 3. And Pokemon, they might not even finish it for the next 5 years or something. It's like
absolutely, that's gonna be a huge game. That game. Yeah. So, do you guys have any closing thoughts on Nintendo's conference? Andrew, do you have any closing thoughts overall? You think they were strong as you wanted them to be? Did they meet your expectation of 4 below? Andrew? Andrew, can you hear us? So I'll move on to Zach before I come back to Andrew. Your closing thoughts on Nintendo?
You know, I think it was an okay conference, but for a year where you just released new hardware, it wasn't strong enough. They needed to come out swinging. They needed Pokemon footage. They needed Metroid footage. They needed to bring Smash over. They missed so many things. I felt like it was way too short for a year where there's a new console. 30 minutes, and like Grease just pointed out, they left out that 3DS game, like that people would have really got excited about. They could have said, oh, you know, Metroid 4 is coming, but in the meantime, here you go, 3DS owners, here's a Metroid 2 remake. How hard is that? It takes a minute. Yeah. You know?
Do you think they're trying to...
They missed so many obvious beats.
Do you think they're trying to wind down 3DS announcements now?
Throwing away the
because
3DS.
Switch, yeah. They've thrown it under the bus for the Switch, in it, which is hand down
They
as
did
well.
announce the new 2DS, though, that's coming out over the summer, right? A new 2DS model.
Dude, that thing actually looks
The
pretty
flat
sexy.
one, yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the 2DS actually really did well for people. People don't want that 3D, right? And I think 3D is kind of... Its phase is gone now, right? 3D TVs.
I never
3D
use it.
modes. Yeah, I've got a 3D TV. I don't play 3D games. The only 3D game I played was Uncharted 3. That's the only game I've ever played in 3D. And that was brilliant, playing Uncharted 3 in 3D. But after that, I never played any game in 3D. Andrew, can you hear us? Andrew? Yeah, so your closing thoughts on Nintendo. You think they met your expectations, fell below? How did you feel after the Nintendos?
They met my expectation. I was really surprised by this conference. I thought it was going to be like a piss-poor conference, like their Nintendo Live thing, but it was a really good conference. I really enjoyed it, and I really think it's they're probably going to, in a good direction right now. So yeah, good conference, I would say.
Okay, so I'm going to close out with your guys' number one favorite conference and your least favorite conference. I'll start with you, Amrinda. So what was at the top of your number one and your last one?
Sony, like Sony, and then like Ubisoft is like catching up, and then there's a 3-way tie for me, and then EA.
Yeah,
that's my thought. Yeah.
Andrew, your favorite and your least favorite conference?
Sony and worst EA. That's how it is.
Zach.
Best Sony, worst EA. Favorite game from E3 wasn't actually even at E3. Kingdom Hearts 3. Watch the trailer if you haven't. That's all I have to say.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Kingdom Hearts.
That's freaking awesome.
That's the one I'm most hyped for. So.
D23. Hopefully we get that announcement next month, man. At D23, like whatever that news is, I hope we get it. For me,
Nomura's hyping it up. He's saying it's going to be a big reveal.
Yeah. So, I guess it's good to see see it at Disney, right? Like a lot of people are. What about Red Dead Redemption 2? You guys were you disappointed we didn't see?
They don't come to E3.
They don't care about E3.
They've never announced anything at E3.
GTA 4 was really big.
Rockstar has never been to E3. Like Rockstar, like they're in a level
Agent.
where
remember Agent from PS3?
They make an announcement.
Agent.
Oh yeah, that never even came out.
Nope.
Yeah, they'll basically put it out when it's ready, right? So for me,
I wonder how happy Bethesda were about Red Dead being delayed for October for Evil Within and Wolfenstein.
Yeah, but Red Dead doesn't have competition, really, does it? When a Rockstar game comes out, there's practically no competition. But Red Dead's not as big as a GTA, right? So it needs a little bit more of a push, I think. Maybe PSX, maybe we'll see Red Dead more at PSX. For me, it was between Sony and Bethesda, but for me, bias-wise, I'm slightly on Bethesda for number one. EA, of course, right at the bottom. I think we can all agree on EA not being. I don't think EA games interest hardcore gamers generally. I think they're more on the casual side. People love Assassins. I think casual and hardcore love Assassins. They have sports. So yeah, I guess those are top favorites. So overall, your thoughts on E3? Good, bad, mediocre, okay? Greece. Overall,
I thought it was okay. The thing is, I feel like this year I wasn't as engaged. with E3. Like I think it ended today. I don't even know. So it's just like that's where I'm at this year. Last year, I went to the PlayStation Experience. I saw that whole Sony conference in the theater. It was like everyone cheering around me. It was like a big thing. And this year, I'm watching these conferences while they're like, I think they're solid, but everyone comes to E3 to see those surprises. And the surprises really, aside from Ubisoft with Beyond Good and Evil, like aside from that, there really wasn't. I guess you can count Metroid and Pokemon, but for me personally,
and Dragon Ball.
What was that?
Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah, Dragon Ball. Oh yeah,
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball looks amazing. That I've watched gameplay of that. Oh, that looks so good. Finally, we get a good fighting game for Dragon Ball Z. But yeah, like I'm just gonna say, even like ancillary announcements that usually they have a good indie game that I'm really excited for. But I mean, the only ones that really caught my attention was like The Last Night and like Cuphead again or something. Even the smaller games, I felt like there wasn't really much. I just want to give a quick shout out to one thing announced in the Microsoft conference though. Yeah, Metro Exodus is going to be phenomenal.
Oh yeah, Metro Redux. I played that, and that was brilliant. That's a brilliant series.
Really good game. And I don't know how many people played that series, but it's actually really good. And that game, just that one gameplay, it's not even really real gameplay, but it looked really good. Just a quick shout out to that. But yeah, overall, I feel like this year maybe is going to be forgettable to me. Overall, but I think they did their jobs. I'm guessing PSX is going to be the most exciting thing to me this year. So
yeah. Andrew, what about you? Overall thoughts on E3? Did it make you happy? Did it leave you hopeful? Below expectations? Kind of disappointed? How was it overall for you?
I enjoyed it overall. I still think E3 last year was 10 times better because of the surprises. There was more hype. There was more energy compared to this one. Because again, this year was a lot of rehash. That they have a few surprises here, sprinkled around. But overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good E3, but wouldn't say it was one of the best, but good E3.
Yeah. Zach, overall
I would say it was overall pretty average. I guess I just expected more with Switch just being out, Xbox One X. I guess there was a lot more hype being built around it, and coming off of the previous 3-4 E3s in a row have all been pretty good. So I would say it's kind of a letdown.
We're so used to having either really good E3s or really bad E3s, right? We rarely have such average E3s when you think about it, right? We always complain that, this was crap, this E3, or this E3 was fucking amazing. But we rarely have the average ones. I think if we're doing average right now, we're heading in the right direction.
I'll take this E3 over the old E3s of like the PS Move demonstration or the Kinect reveal, like
Wonderbook,
Ridge Racer, and like all the cringe moments. Like those are, or at least those are gone.
Do you remember the Wii conference where DJ Ravi drums were just shaking the Wiimotes and people were dancing on stage? I'll take this over those. And Directs, I'll take over those any day, man. I think overall. Were there any games you guys saw in post-conference streams or stuff that interested you that you didn't maybe see on the conferences? Were there anything in post-conference content right after the conference finishes? Were there any games that caught your eye that you don't think was exposed, Amrina?
The only ones I can I didn't really watch much of, like I said, like I didn't even know E3 was like what day we're on or anything, so I didn't really tune in too much. But I know my good friend is really excited for Ace Combat.
Ace Combat, yeah.
They showed some Ace Combat, and then the other thing that was I was surprised that they had, but they're bringing one of those Gundam Versus games over. Which I've never.
Oh yeah, I saw some footage of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I when I was in Japan, I played that against some other Japanese people, and they got annihilated because I didn't know how to play. But so it'd be interesting to finally learn that. Oh yeah, and Dissidia. I can't believe I forgot about Dissidia.
The port PlayStation 4. Yeah.
Yeah, finally, I've been waiting for that. The Dissidia games are always really fun and solid. So to finally get that on console, that's pretty exciting to me. But I mean,
did we get a release date for that?
I don't think we got a release date. I think we got I think it was like a chunk, like around what time. I don't even remember what it was. But like my two favorite things that they showed off the thing was Ni no Kuni 2. You know, they completely revamped the combat system for that, which is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
Yeah.
So, as always,
very action heavy.
Yeah, Studio Ghibli and like freaking level 5, like that's like a match made in paradise. I can't even, like, that's just so good. But and then the Metroid, the 3DS games, actually looks really good.
Yeah, Andrew, outside of the conferences, did you see any footage of games that weren't mentioned that you caught your eye at all? Any interesting games?
Not really. Everything that caught my eye was shown either shown or they didn't show anything. So can't say that they showed anything that caught my eye. Can't say no.
Okay, and Zach, finally, you with anything they showed outside?
Nothing that wasn't shown at the conferences, but the one thing I saw out of the conference that really excited me was the extended gameplay of Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Yeah.
I thought it looked fantastic, and finally it might be the Dragon Ball fighting game that everyone has wanted for so many years.
I mean, I remember in Microsoft's conference, the frame rate that they were showing the trailer at was really bad, right? It felt really stuttery. I remember when I was watching the stream, but the gameplay outside of it looked really solid.
Yeah, it's running at 60. Yeah.
Running at 60, yeah. So maybe for their conference sake, it was looking a bit different. So you know what? I'll end it there, man. I thank you guys for your thoughts on it, man. I think we were almost in a sort of consensus that EA was just not good. Some of them were tied with each other, you know, even though some people might want to throw Sony up in the air, right, compared to them. But, you know, critically speaking, I think it was an okay E3, I guess. Okay.
It was Sony, Nintendo, Ubisoft. Those were the three that people like interchanged for first place.
Yeah. I mean, it's anyone's game this year, right? In such an average E3, it's anyone's game this year. So, you know what? I want to say thank you to Grease Lightning Reactions, PortgasXUchiha, Zach Ryan for being on this podcast, man. You guys are great, man. I hope to get you on again. Maybe after PSX. Hopefully, we can do one on PSX or even before that if there's any announcements and stuff. So, thank you to guys in the chat who are watching. For Fuck the Trolls, anyone being constructive, that was awesome. And hope to see you guys soon again for another podcast. So, peace out, guys. Peace out.